The TikTok ban is currently making its way through Congress, and I will tell you right now, up front, this early in advance, this is going to be an unmitigated disaster for the Democrats, as well as may cost them the election come November. So we're going to get into that in just a second. Let's start right now with the basics. Is China stealing data from us through TikTok? We don't know. Does the government have a reason to be concerned? Yes. China's entire track record shows pretty concisely that they will steal anything and spy on anyone with completely no shame. They view it as an equalizer to competing with America, stealing it, being able to use tech or whatever. And they are pretty good at it. Yeah, there's a lot of reports that have been written on this that shows significant concern about the rising technological advancement of China and how they're going to be on par with us, not particularly in the distant future. Now, but there's no evidence to the degree that they are actually taking information. And if you're going to ban an app of 200 people and take that hit to your voting demographic, you better have a good reason, good articulatable reason. And they just don't. In fact, there is a TikToker, his name's Shane Morris, and he is a defense contractor. He works for AI infrastructure. He has a security clearance. He has to. But he gave a symposium to a number of experts, generals, people in the field about TikTok and whether or not this is a genuine concern. And his assessment was there is no evidence that China is stealing from us directly. There is, however, evidence that China, Russia, Iran, other countries are creating bots, are creating AI bots even to argue with each other in comment sections to cause division, to get people dissuaded to vote, and to get people hyped up to vote in various, whatever helps them. And he has a security clearance. He doesn't see any of that. So if they do have this information, I suspect that this has to be incredibly classified because the methods that they use to obtain that information are probably pretty advanced. Now, so the government has concern, but ByteDance can't divest anyways unless the CCP allows them to. So really, Biden and the Democrats aren't doing themselves any favor, because even if this passes, the best outcome you're going to get is TikTok gets banned in the US. It gets removed from the App Store. I assume people probably use VPNs or some other service to get access to TikTok. And then it actually might make the situation worse, because now you have an app that's not getting updated for security concerns, and it's just on people's phones. And now you have a more serious security issue on hand, or a potentially more serious one. This is going to be bad for the Democrats, though. This is going to be really bad. And I get into all those reasons in just a second, but we're going to start here. So this is Jeff Jackson. And Jeff Jackson is a member of Congress that was posting videos, still is, to TikTok, informing people about various information going on in Congress. And he did some wonderful videos, absolutely great videos, explaining to people what's going on in very simple terms. And he was beloved on TikTok. That was until he voted for the TikTok ban. And then the backlash came. He received an incredible amount of hate, was dragged across the entirety of the internet because he voted for this. Now, if that can happen to Jeff Jackson, that can happen to Democrats. I know what you're saying. TikTok is not indicative of everybody that's into politics. I agree. Nor does everybody have an attachment to it. And so for a lot of people across the U.S., banning TikTok, although it may suck, is not going to make them dislike the Democrats or the Republicans or any other politician. However, you don't need everybody to hate you to lose an election. You just need a small percentage. And there's 170 million people on TikTok, so I imagine that's more than a small percentage. But obviously, he got a significant amount of hate for this. And if that anger resonates, which it will be used by these same bots throughout the election, right? If that anger resonates, you can have a situation where you push away Democratic voters, and specifically Gen Z, not only because they're mad at you for getting rid of TikTok, but because you surrender your biggest recruitment tool for Gen Z. Now, I understand that the ban won't happen until after the election, if it does happen at all, if it doesn't get shot down in court. This won't happen until after the election. However, This will be an issue going into the election, and this will be talked about going into the election. And it could be used as a weapon for Donald Trump. Suppose Donald Trump comes out and goes, no, we're for keeping TikTok. Even though he tried to ban it, he'll just lie because he's Donald Trump. Yeah, you could sway enough people that it could create a serious problem. Alternatively, you've now, say, he said he was going to sign the bill. Let's assume he signs the bill. You have a problem now where Republicans, if they come back into control, can now weaponize this bill to get rid of the Democrats' most impressive recruitment tool. We saw what happened to Jeff Jackson. We've seen the importance of TikTok in raising awareness. However, the Democrats in this moment are making a significant blunder that is going to cost them. I have routinely called out issues within the Hillary camp, within the Bernie camp, within the Biden camp. There's going to be a problem for them going forward in the election, and this is going to be one of those things. This is going to be a significant moment. Don't underestimate it at all. You are taking away, 200 million people's access to information. You're going to anger some people. I hope that the Democrats don't do this. I hope that they're smart enough. I know that Joe Biden's not stupid, nor his campaign, and they have to be genuinely concerned about banning this. But you're playing with fire. Even the suggestion that you're going to ban TikTok can backfire significantly on you. And the moment his pen strikes that paper, it goes from not being about the representatives to being about you. You're the guy that shut down TikTok, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no way around it. Republicans are going to run that you stole free speech forever. This is a bad move for the Democrats. This is going to cost them if they go through with it. I hope that somebody in the Senate has the foresight to say this is a bad idea, but you're not going to pressure China into getting rid of ByteDance. Because if I was in China's position, to be honest with you, I would probably just roll the dice that the U.S. is not going to ban it, then surrender it if I was using it for spying. So we'll see what happens. We'll know in the next few days here, but I'm telling you, the Democrats are going to cost themselves the election. I can't think of a worse thing to do. Target, 5 or 7 million businesses. Target people, not just businesses that operate off TikTok, but people that make a living off TikTok, right? How many people that you're going to affect by getting rid of their income source is absolutely absurd. This is one of the worst political mistakes I have seen in a very long time. And if you were going to do it, they should have waited until after the election, because right now, optically, this looks absolutely terrible. Add that to the list of blunders that Joe Biden's been doing recently with selling F-6 or F-15s to Israel, despite the fact that they're not going to arrive there for years. The optics of the things that he is doing look absolutely terrible. He needs to focus on just not screwing up. It's about all he has to do to beat Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has so much stacked against him. Just stop blundering, stop screwing up. I hope the Democrats reverse course on this, because they're headed for absolute heartbreak in November.